Cinema history contains films so psychologically intense and visually challenging that they were considered too bold for mainstream audiences of their time. These aren't just dramatic movies, but deeply thought-provoking experiences that explored unconventional themes and pushed creative boundaries. Today, we're counting down 10 classic films that remain compelling yet intense viewing experiences for dedicated film enthusiasts. 10th, Man Behind the Sun, 1988. T.F. Mouse directed this historically significant war film examining Japanese Unit 731's medical experiments during World War II, with a budget of just $500,000. The Hong Kong production explored documented medical procedures performed on Chinese prisoners with historical accuracy that positioned itself between educational documentation and dramatic cinema. The film follows fictional characters experiencing wartime medical research programs. What made this historically important was its unflinching examination of actual documented events, including medical procedures, endurance testing, and biological research. Mouse used archival medical footage and detailed prosthetics, creating documentary-like realism. The clinical presentation approaches these historical events more seriously than typical dramatic films. Wang Gang delivers a powerful performance as witness to systematic persecution. Supporting cast creates believable characters within this historical context. Production design recreates period medical facilities with historical accuracy. Man Behind the Sun generated international discussion and remains restricted in several countries. Its combination of historical education with challenging content appeals more to serious film students and history enthusiasts rather than general entertainment audiences. 9. Salo, or the 120 Days of Sodom, 1975. Pierpaolo Pasolini's final film adapted Marquis de Sade's novel into a political allegory about 4 Italian officials controlling teenagers in 1944 Republic of Salo. With a modest Italian production budget, the film created systematic tension through theatrical staging and careful cinematography. The story follows kidnapped youths subjected to increasingly elaborate psychological and emotional manipulation. What made Salo extraordinarily challenging was its intellectual approach to depicting human cruelty and political oppression through mature themes. Pasolini structured events in precise segments mirroring Dante's Inferno, creating an artistic framework for genuinely provocative content. The film's political allegory creates its powerful impact on viewers. Non-professional actors deliver committed performances that feel uncomfortably realistic. The characters' youth and vulnerability create genuine concern beyond typical dramatic cinema. Production design creates a claustrophobic palace environment reflecting political excess and corruption. Salo remains restricted or heavily edited worldwide and sparked debates about art versus mature content. Pasolini's death shortly after completion added tragic context to this film, exploring power dynamics. Its artistic merit creates challenging content that provokes serious discussion rather than entertains most viewers. 8. Cannibal Holocaust, 1980. Ruggero Deodato directed this found-footage adventure about documentary filmmakers encountering Amazon indigenous tribes with a $700,000 budget. The Italian production created realistic jungle environments and intense scenes that initially convinced authorities the events were real. The story follows a rescue team discovering footage revealing the filmmakers' controversial methods and unfortunate fate. What made Cannibal Holocaust uniquely impactful was its realistic presentation that made viewers question what they were witnessing. Deodato's direction blurred fiction and reality through documentary-style cinematography and improvised dialogue. Authentic jungle footage during production added environmental realism that enhanced the fictional narrative. Robert Kerman and Francesca Ciardi deliver naturalistic performances, enhancing the found footage style. Indigenous actors create authentic tribal portrayals without typical Hollywood stereotypes. The jungle setting becomes central to the story through its immersive atmosphere and environmental challenges. Cannibal Holocaust influenced the found footage genre from Blair Witch Project to modern cinema, but remains too intense for mainstream distribution. Its commentary on media ethics becomes the film's lasting legacy. The film's technical innovations established techniques still used in contemporary filmmaking. 7. Necroantic, 1987. Jörg Buttgereit directed this German independent film about a mortuary worker with unusual psychological fixations on a microscopic budget of $65,000. The West German production explored unconventional themes through art house techniques, creating a challenging character study. The story follows Rob, whose relationship deteriorates as his girlfriend discovers his concerning behavioral patterns. What made Necroantic psychologically complex was its clinical treatment of psychological conditions without sensationalism or moral judgment. Buttgereit's direction presents the subject matter as a psychological case study rather than typical genre material. The documentary approach makes the content more psychologically thought-provoking than conventional films. Bernd Daktari Lorenz delivers a committed performance as Rob, creating understanding for a psychologically troubled character. Beatrice Manowski brings depth to the girlfriend role, discovering her partner's concerning behavior. The low budget enhances the realistic atmosphere, making events feel authentically presented. Necroantic gained recognition among art cinema enthusiasts, but remains too psychologically intense for general audiences. Its academic approach to unconventional subject matter creates a viewing experience that provokes serious reflection. The film's exploration of psychological themes challenges viewers in ways most cinema does not attempt. 6th, Guinea Pig, Flower of Flesh and Blood, 1985. Hideshi Hino directed this Japanese short film focusing on special effects craftsmanship with a minimal budget emphasizing technical artistry. The 40-minute production presents a historical scenario involving traditional methods through elaborate practical effects. The focus remains on technical demonstration rather than plot or character development. What made this technically impressive was its realistic special effects work that showcased advanced prosthetics craftsmanship. Hino's special effects background created makeup and technical work so convincing that it demonstrated cinema's ability to blur reality and fiction. The emphasis on technical craft makes it primarily a special effects showcase. The presentation focuses on technical demonstration rather than traditional performances. The characters serve the technical requirements rather than narrative development. The production craft centers entirely on creating advanced practical effects work. Guinea Pig gained attention when Charlie Sheen contacted authorities believing the technical work was too realistic. The series influenced special effects cinema, but remains primarily of interest to technical film enthusiasts. Its achievement in practical effects demonstrates advanced craftsmanship while serving a very specific niche audience interested in technical filmmaking. 5. Begotten, 1989. Elias Merhige created this experimental art film depicting surreal creation mythology through black-and-white imagery reminiscent of early cinema. Made for $33,000 over 6 years, the film presents a wordless narrative exploring themes of transformation, nature's cycles, and human experience. The story unfolds through symbolic imagery rather than conventional plot structure. What made Begotten visually striking was its dreamlike visual style, creating atmospheric tension through abstract imagery. Merhige's technique involved multiple film generations, creating a grainy, otherworldly appearance, suggesting ancient footage of mystical events. The absence of dialogue encourages viewers to interpret pure visual storytelling. Brian Salzberg, Donna Dempsey, and Stephen Charles Barry deliver physical performances through elaborate makeup and costumes that transform human features. Characters represent mythological archetypes rather than individuals. The stark black and white cinematography creates a dreamlike quality, enhancing the artistic presentation. Begotten influenced experimental cinema and music video aesthetics, but remains too abstract and challenging for general audiences. Its artistic ambitions create a uniquely contemplative viewing experience. The film's exploration of creation mythology through visual poetry creates a lasting artistic impression. Number 4. Pink Flamingos, 1972. John Waters directed this underground comedy about competing for the title of Most Unconventional Person Alive with a budget of $10,000. The Baltimore production featured acts of social rebellion, including boundary-pushing behavior and provocative stunts. The The story follows Divine defending her reputation against rival characters through increasingly outrageous antics. What made Pink Flamingos memorable was its commitment to genuine provocation rather than typical movie effects. Waters encouraged real acts of rebellion, including controversial moments and unscripted performances. The celebratory tone toward unconventional behavior creates a unique response in viewers. Divine delivers an iconic performance, embracing complete rejection of social conventions and mainstream expectations. Mink Stoll, David Lochary, and Mary Vivian Pearce create memorable characters celebrating alternative lifestyles and nonconformity. The independent production values enhance the authentic underground atmosphere. Pink Flamingos became a midnight movie staple and influenced independent cinema, but remains too genuinely provocative for mainstream acceptance. Its cultural impact on filmmaking cannot be separated from content designed to challenge rather than comfort audiences. The film's celebration of nonconformity creates a viewing experience that divides audiences. 3. Eraserhead, 1977. David Lynch's surreal debut depicted an industrial setting about a man caring for an unusual infant in a dystopian landscape. Created over 5 years with an American Film Institute grant, the film used practical effects and sound design to create a genuinely atmospheric experience. The story follows Henry Spencer navigating an unconventional domestic situation and environmental challenges. What made Eraserhead psychologically compelling was its dreamlike logic, creating constant intrigue without conventional narrative structure. Lynch's direction builds tension through industrial soundscapes, striking imagery, and thoughtful silences. The film operates as an extended dream sequence that invites personal interpretation. Jack Nance delivers a mesmerizing performance as Henry, conveying confusion and concern through minimal dialogue. Charlotte Stewart creates a believable character within surreal circumstances. The industrial production design creates an immersive environment reflecting psychological themes. Number 2. Unien Andeloo, 1929. Luis Buñuel and Salvador Dalí created this 16-minute surrealist short film designed to challenge and intrigue viewers through striking imagery. Made with minimal budget in France, the film presents disconnected scenes, including the famous visual metaphor sequence. No narrative coherence exists beyond dream logic and artistic expression. What made Unien Andeloo artistically compelling was its deliberate rejection of conventional meaning and embrace of pure visual poetry. Buñuel's direction creates artistic tension through unexpected juxtapositions and provocative imagery. The film's brevity intensifies impact by refusing explanation or resolution. Pierre Batcheff and Simone Marui perform symbolic actions rather than character development. Their interactions follow dream logic, creating constant viewer curiosity. The stark black and white cinematography enhances the dreamlike quality. Unien Andeloo influenced surrealist cinema and experimental filmmaking, but remains too intellectually challenging for casual viewing. Its historical importance established content designed to provoke rather than comfort audiences. The film's exploration of unconscious themes through cinema created a template for challenging art cinema. First, Hexon, 1922. Benjamin Christensen directed this Swedish-Danish documentary about witchcraft throughout history, using dramatic recreations of medieval practices and period imagery. With substantial budget for the silent era, the film combined historical research with cinematic techniques. The story examines historical persecution through scholarly narration and increasingly detailed visual sequences. What made Hexon historically significant was its detailed recreation of documented historical practices and religious persecution presented as educational documentary. Christensen's direction treats historical events with academic perspective, making the content more intellectually engaging. The scholarly approach provides context for challenging historical material. Christensen himself plays a supernatural figure in elaborate makeup and costume, creating a memorable screen presence. Supporting cast recreates historical events with period authenticity. The production design recreates medieval settings and religious imagery with historical accuracy. These films pushed boundaries of artistic expression, creating experiences that challenge conventional viewing. Their historical importance and artistic merit established content designed to provoke rather than comfort audiences. Which film intrigued you most? Subscribe for more thought-provoking cinema explorations.